Welcome to the Podcast Perplexium. Here we discuss all things, the usual and the unusual, the intriguing, the perplexing, and the fun, with ordinary and extraordinary people alike. Come with me now as we dive deep. Let the Podcast Perplexium begin.
We're on.
We are live.
Nice.
Cosmo, welcome to the Podcast Perplexium.
Thank you for having me, Dylan.
Yeah, man.
I'm a big consumer of podcast content, so it's like just gonna feel a little funny being on the content creation side of it. But yeah, let's see how this goes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on. You're going to be episode 9.
Nice.
And very grateful for having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, Cosmo, first question I want to start with. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your childhood.
My childhood. Well, I was born in Japan, Wakayama, Japan. Didn't move to America till I was 5 years old. Grew up in the Bay Area. Lived in Martinez, California. I don't know if anyone knows that, but just Catholic schoolboy all the way through high school. Went to junior college for 2 years up there, then transferred down to San Diego State, and just as soon as I've done that, I haven't left San Diego since.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting you to say that you were born in Japan.
Yeah, I don't remember much of before 5, right? Like there's my few. Sorry, it's dark. My few memories of Japan are all like traumatic events, right? Like I think when I was 3, I fell off a slide, and that is ingrained in my head. My first swim lesson was in Japan, and that was terrifying. You know, they throw you in the pool without knowing, and then the one thing that is really just encapsulates me learning how to swim was just being in a life raft at the end of the swim lesson. And this is maybe when I was 3.5, and the teacher is pulling the life raft to the edge of the pool, and 5 feet away from the pool, she just flips the life raft over, and it's just swim to the side. And I was just grabbing on a life raft, and I still have kind of nightmares about that. And so,
oh my god.
So now so I have a daughter of my own now, and so I think of that, and I'm like, we're going to maybe teach her how to swim in
ease her into it a little bit more.
An easier way.
That's so funny.
I think I was terrified of the water for at least 5 years after moving from Japan. But I became a swimmer after that. So,
cool.
It ended up being fine.
Interesting little memory.
Yeah.
I remember when I learned how to swim, the way that they did it, they had these foam blocks that they would tie to our back, and then they would remove one by one. So we started with 4, and then it became 3 the next month, and then the next month it was 2, and then the next month it was 1. So I guess they were getting us acquainted with our own body weight in the water.
Yeah. And
then eventually they would take the 1 away, and then you were just able to swim. Interesting Japan memory.
Yeah. I taught swim lessons when I was in high school. Okay. Also while lifeguarding, and I taught younger kids, and that was not how we teach swim lessons in America. Japan, it's just you just throw them in, and they're gonna figure it out on their own. America is just we're gonna blow bubbles, and then we're gonna maybe ease your head in first, and then it steps like that. So it's just funny. 2 different cultures.
Yeah,
learning things.
I want to go to Japan really bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's the future.
Yeah, it's okay. So you haven't been back?
I haven't been back since I was 14-ish, I think, maybe 15. It's been a long while. But I've had a lot of friends go there, and right now it's probably a pretty good time to go because the dollar is very strong compared to the yen. So it's very cheap now to go.
I want to go so bad, especially now. doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I think we got to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. That's I guess the beginning.
Yeah. So for my listeners, once again, I have here a jiu-jitsu friend. That's how we met.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Cosmo, why don't I ask you, so how did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So I lived with a couple poker guys in like 2011, 2012-ish. And one of my best friends got into jiu-jitsu back then. And we actually got mats out in our balcony area. And we were just kind of screwing around. That he was actually going to class. I wasn't going to the classes then, but like I was like sort of helping him train. Like he was showing me moves in the backyard, and I had a gi back then, but I didn't start actual classes until 2017, when my friend Marcus brought me and another guy to the La Jolla Ribeiros, and we started there. Leo was my first instructor there. The class was like 4 people big. And yeah, I mean, I rolled with Solo. The second day I was there, he got me in that nice mount that he gets everyone in, the waterboarding with the gi and stuff like that. And you know, I survived it, and he's like, "Yeah, you have the heart for it," and stuff like that. And it was like, "Oh, nice! Like, I really like this." You know, like you kind of like that pain. Like, okay, we're gonna, you know, get better at this. And yeah, it's just a great workout. Yeah, like that great kind of game aspect of it, like learning about it. It's just like it. I just loved everything about jiu-jitsu when I first started, and I just kept with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so now you're a purple belt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you started in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, what would you say has been the hardest part about jiu-jitsu so far?
Well, my cardio is not great, and
Mine
that
too.
has been and this is 100% my fault. You know, it's one of those like, this is a fixable issue, and anytime I get tired in a round, I just like it's frustrating to the point where I'm just like, I should be able to physically do this, and I can't. You know, and part of it too is I wish I started earlier in life. I mean, when I started, I was 30. I can't do math. 34. It's 33 or something like that. I wish I was in my 20s. There, you know, because like when I do end up pushing myself and training a lot, those are the times I run into like an injury here and there. Like I have like now little back issues, like little like kind of knee stuff. It's not the kind of sport on your body, and that part is frustrating to me. There are things that I can do to fix this though, but also having a family now, like time is of the essence too. So like my free time currently is just like going to class, and I'm like, okay, I can do things at class, doing side things for my body. It's just it's very limiting.
What did you study in school?
So in college, I was a communications major with an emphasis in journalism, and I realized how hard it is to make a career as a journalist. But I used to blog a ton. My dream job for a while was being a like sports reporter for like ESPN or something like that. Because I, you know, at that time I was still like really into sports. Played a lot of water polo growing up, and then like, you know, just watched a ton of sports in general. And so I realized it's you have to do a lot of like one of the professors at SDSU basically just laid it to us straight, where he was like, hey, like you're going to be writing 20 articles and the publication's going to pick one of them, and that's if you're lucky, and you're going to write like 20 more, and like and then everything that we learned was how to get more engagement in your writing part, like basically how like media works in terms of like you know, you have news, but you have news that needs to be watched, because you know, when it comes down to it, journalism is you know, you need to get paid, and the only way that they get paid on the side is if you get, like, now it's clicks, but like eyes on your work, right?
Gotcha.
And so
yeah, it just came down that like the juice wasn't going to be worth the squeeze.
Yeah, it's, and the thing is I've always been a big believer on doing what you love to do.
Sure.
And I did love journalism, but I think learning about journalism kind of turned me off on a lot of things about it.
Sure.
The one class that really ruined like TV for me was we had a advertisement class, and we dove deep in the product placement in a TV, and like one of our like projects was like pointing out like different product placements, and then seeing the full list of all the products that were being branded in the episode or the movie that we were watching.
Yeah.
And then like it trained my brain to like see these things now, like in TV, and I can't unsee it, where I'm just like, oh, there's like an Apple logo, or there's, you know, like, and then knowing on the backside the brands that are paying for the content to be pushed through in that, like, especially in the TV shows, like a very subtle way, they're trying to just like, you know, like pass it along, or like, ooh, like look, I'm, you know, like product placement, like Starbucks right here, like stuff like that, you know, it's just very subtle things that I can't unsee. And so that's ruined TV for me.
I can see how that might kill the romance.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, when you see how things are being placed and stuff. So
yeah.
But
when you were a little kid, when adults would ask you like, what do you want to be when you grow up, your answer for the most part was like, I want to be a sports.
I don't think that my answer was that until maybe high school. It's one, like, I was probably one of those kids that didn't really know what I really wanted to do.
Sure.
Like I remember my like when I was like in first grade, like there was what do you want to be when you grow up, and I like drew like, oh, I want to be like president of the United States, and the teacher just instantly put a bullet in that. It's like, you were born in Japan. It's like, oh, I can't do that. Okay. So the one thing I wanted to be, and it's like, can't. So yeah, I mean, I found that interest through blogging originally, and it just never really materialized, I guess.
You know what I wanted to be?
What?
Or when I was a little kid, like under the age of 10, when they would ask me what did I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
Paleontologist.
Oh.
You know why? Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's her. Oh my God, what a good movie. Oh. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I had the dino fever. I was one of those boys that just anything dinosaur related, like dino nugs, dinosaur chicken nuggets, just all those like toys you'd get at like McDonald's for like the Land Before Time.
Oh, Land Before Time, what a movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about the Land Before Time real fast.
Yes.
That movie plants a seed in your head when you're a 3-year-old boy, and when you watch it when you're an adult, don't watch it. It's very sad.
It's so sad. It's so sad. Like, I mean,
but it's dinosaurs though, so
yeah,
you know. It's got that going for it.
Was it Sharptooth? Was the
Sharptooth was the T-Rex?
Oh god, terrifying.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right. Yeah, when you were a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah. They used to make those kid movies, Disney movies, like the villains in those, like way more terrifying than they do in the movies now. It's just, I feel like they don't make the kids movies like they used to. You know, like the whale in like at the end of Pinocchio. Like that thing, I just remember as a kid, like I was like, "Whoa, this whale!" You know.
Yeah.
I mean, like Sleeping Beauty, the Maleficent was just like just looked so evil, and now it's, I don't know, it's just like Finding Nemo. You know, like
I love how much of a hard left we just took in the conversation.
I know. Sorry, that was complete tangent.
This has been a Dylan A+ Dylan rant.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's bring it back to So, the internet.
Yes.
Good or bad on the whole?
Amazing. I think my personal view is that I think the internet needs to be like all access, like everyone needs to be able to access the internet, because the internet is just one of the, like, it just provides so much opportunity for anyone that is seeking to find it. And it's really unacceptable that there isn't like just free Wi-Fi for like everyone, you know, like there just needs to be access to internet for anyone that needs it. Like similar to like, you know, just like any sort of, yes, the internet's good. Now, there are bad uses of the internet.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, it's weird because like there's so much information on the internet, and I feel like one of the best skills that can be like acquired now is like finding what good information is on the internet. Because like the internet, yeah, it provides a lot of like information, but it also allows anyone to provide that information, and that's kind of an issue because not everyone is an expert in the field that they're, you know, talking about. Are you familiar with like that Dunning-Kruger study? Where, okay, so like Dunning-Kruger effect is like where someone who knows nothing of a subject, right, will say like, I don't know about that subject. But if they know a little bit about that subject and they talk to someone that doesn't know anything about the subject, they think they know everything about the subject.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, and that ultra confidence is at its peak at the very beginning of like when people like just first learn about a subject, just because like you're like, oh, they know like a little bit about it, right?
It's like a blue belt appearing like a black belt to a white belt.
Exactly. There's more. So there's a graph on it where it's like the peak confidence comes at the beginning, and the more someone learns about a topic, that confidence like really dwindles to the point where they're like, oh, like I see this entire picture, and like I know so little of the full, you know, picture of things. And so it's just, you get a lot of information from people that are certain about a topic, and that is always, I'm always worried when I see someone being so certain.
Yeah.
Because in the back of my head, I'm thinking, how much does this person actually know? Because in my experience, the smartest people that I've gotten information from are always not, they give me the information and they're always like not so sure about it, but usually those tidbits are pretty good because they're questioning it from their side. Yeah. You know, and because they know so much about any given topic. And so I think that kind of dynamic is, you know, interesting when you're kind of surfing the web.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What are some ways that you like to navigate and I guess mitigate the risk of coming across what we might call like bad information? Or I guess, what are some ways that you, I'll say, self-police so that you are using the internet in a way that is most beneficial to you?
Sure. So when someone sends me like a link to an article, one of the first things I do is just click on who wrote it, you know, and then a big thing is like clicking to see, like, maybe even just skim the titles of articles that this writer has written previously. You can get a lot of information from that just right off the bat, like at surface level, because if they're trying to push a narrative on you, you can see like the history of articles. I mean, on most sites, you can see the history of articles that a writer has written, and see if all the articles are trying to push your ideas one way, or, you know, and like someone that's doing that is not their goal isn't to give you the best information, right? In my belief, their goal is more to push a storyline or a narrative on you. I ignore almost completely like articles that are like that, and often those are opinion pieces. So like our local news is great because our local news kind of just, you know, gives us the news and stuff. Bigger news organizations give you the news, and then they give you their opinion on the news. The opinion, it's just, it's like the thing that frustrates me the most about the internet. It's like, or I mean, just like the news cycle in general, not really the internet, but it's, I feel like they should just give everyone the news without the opinion pieces. The opinion pieces are...
I agree that it's not what the news
they're just... It's like a translation of like how you should view the news. It's just... It's not great.
I know.
In my opinion.
So let me ask, so do you have like your... I know I have a couple friends that have some like off the beaten path news sources, like these like underground websites that they go to. You know, do you do any of that?
So I mean, not so much. I mean, like I've gone down rabbit holes for sure. But I feel like I'm like my background in knowing like who's writing what, like doesn't let me get lost down rabbit holes. Like that's a danger, you know, like you know, the internet. So the internet has the algorithm, right? And the algorithm's goals are often to just get you to click like what's interesting to you, right? And so like if you're clicking on one video, it's going to show you like, oh, the person that clicked on this video and watched this video like would click, you know, you have the thing on YouTube that will send you down those rabbit holes, right? It's just like everyone should take a step back before you really, you know, like you can go down like some deep rabbit holes on a lot of topics, right? Just finding yourself back to reality, I think, is important. Because like you gotta always remember like all like you can't I mean, now that anyone can be a content creator, right? You're going, it's hard to know who to trust. And you're like, when you're watching a video and you're like believing information from a video, or like listening to a podcast and believing information about a podcast, any of that like content, reading, you're putting your trust in the writer or the content creator. And like, it's not clear that they deserve that trust. Yet, you know, so like you really have to like find a way to filter who you listen to in a way. You know, don't make it too narrow, because that like the narrower you make it, like that you leave yourself blind to a lot of, you know, a lot of parts of the world, I assume. But like also making it too wide is on an issue on the other side. It's a fine balance that you need to do, right? I mean, do you find like this problem yourself, or?
I kind of made a decision. Well, first of all, I don't watch TV. I stopped once I got to college. Once I left my home at the age of 18. There was never really, I never bothered to have cable when I was in college, and I was just too focused on being a good student. And then now, like, if I watch videos, it's on YouTube, but I'm not, so I don't watch the news really. If I find out, and like, my philosophy is, if it's really important for me to know, I'm going to know it. You know, like, there's going to be some way that, like, if it's critical to my life, if it's going to impact me on a daily basis, somehow I'll know.
Do you have like friends you listen to that you trust their information, kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think that's, for me, the biggest filter of like information. Like, if I get something, I'll filter it through my friend groups that also like do their own kind of filtering and see, you know, what kind of information I can trust in a way.
I do go on social media, right? So, and really the only ones I'm using are Facebook and Instagram. And Instagram, I don't even, like, I don't see people's posts on Instagram because I set it so that only, like, you know, it's interesting. We're in such like a voyeuristic and exhibitionistic culture, right? And there's like a spectrum, and it's like, are you more, you have people who like, they just want to like look, and then you have people who like, they just want to like show, you know, and then you have people in the middle, and it's like 50-50 split. But like, I made a decision where I don't really go on Instagram to look at people's stuff, because it's not good for my, it's not healthy for me.
It's probably healthy for no one, realistically.
So I'm moderating the way that I use Instagram in that way. Now Facebook, I'll go on Facebook and I'll see what people are posting, but I try not to spend too much time when I scroll. But that's the thing. I notice that if there's really something important for me to know, if I go on Facebook, I'll see it. You know. Like, if there's like an earthquake in San Diego, or
sure,
I guess I would feel it, right? But, you know, I've never experienced an earthquake before. So I
guess you said you came here 2018.
Yeah.
We haven't had I think the last big one I remember was like Easter in like 2013. It's been a while, like 10 years probably.
I guess that's maybe not a good example, but if they were like, don't drink the tap water, or something like that, I would. The moment I would go on Facebook, I would see that. Because someone would be saying it. So, what do you think about Twitter and Elon Musk and all that? Do you have any opinions about that?
I mean, I don't really care who owns Twitter so much. I do like the direction he's taking it. Twitter, interestingly enough, Twitter, you can get probably the best information from Twitter if you're good at filtering who to follow, because there are some extremely smart people on Twitter that just drop just really good knowledge about like all sorts of topics, and if you have the right follows, it's probably one of the best sources of information. With that said, I don't know.
Do you tweet?
I don't. I lurking, just following and reading.
That's cool.
But I read a lot. I have friends that do trading, and they have like, I know like scraping Twitter and scraping data from Twitter is definitely like a part of like data they collect for trading. It's just a great source of information if you know where to look, or like who to follow, for sure. But I don't really have too many opinions on.
Cosmo, another thing that you and I have in common is our love of a good cerebral game.
Yes. What games do you like?
Well, I think the one that we share in common is chess.
Yes. I like chess.
Yeah, you're one of the few people who I know who destroy me.
I mean, I've been playing chess since I played chess in third grade, but I think I didn't really pick it up again until last 5 years, especially during COVID. Like I feel like everyone sort of picked up something like that, right? And
the Queen's Gambit, I think.
And Queen's Gambit definitely helped. Like that's when I really started playing chess again online, and then like now the chess apps make it so easy, and it's cool. Like being able to play like online on your phone, like just chess games on your phone make it easy. So
yeah, definitely,
it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Love chess. Love a lot of other games too.
So I want to find out how deep into it you are. Do you have like a opening that you try to use?
I don't really know that many openings. I do the same 2 things for white and the same 2 things for black. I think.
So you do.
I mean, like, okay, so white, I use king's pawn forward, and then I try to get them in a Danish gambit, but a lot of people just don't go into the Danish gambit, and so then I just will play a game from there, and I don't know if that's an opening or not. And then for black, I think it's called the King's Indian Defense.
Yeah.
I play that almost King's Indian Defense and Sicilian sometimes.
Those sound like the most common ones.
Yeah, super common.
Yeah.
And then just games go from there, right?
Cool. Yeah.
But I think, at least for me in chess, I do the puzzle ladder, like where you're figuring out the tactics, and I do well in the tactics ladder. So like the middle of the game and the end of the game, I do like fine. In the beginning, I don't know, people screw me up with like remembering the openings. I just I don't know, I should study or something, but I like, I just play casually.
Just play.
So yeah,
just play,
play and see how it works.
Kind of like jujitsu.
Yeah, exactly. Just play around, like, there are things I should do, but like,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Do you find when you do jujitsu that there's parallels, like
chess and jujitsu? Chess like is the game that is the perfect parallel for jujitsu, right? It's like it's one of those high skill level. It's like high skill on the top end, and there's no like luck. There's just it's just justice, right? And the strategies are pretty much like you're thinking like things counter different things. Like, I mean, chess is exactly what jiu-jitsu is, especially on the one-on-one nature, right?
Yeah.
Black, white, and then like jiu-jitsu, you're just going one-on-one against another person too. So, I mean, I like chess in that way. I like a lot of other games.
Here, another one is poker, right?
Yes, poker. I mean, I found poker through a game called StarCraft on the internet. I used to play like Warcraft and StarCraft in high school.
I dabbled in World of Warcraft a little bit.
Yeah, I played regular Warcraft. Yeah, and then World of Warcraft was a spawn of that regular Warcraft, but it's, I think, different. Like regular Warcraft is like an RTS, real time strategy, which is just also like a one-on-one.
So is that like Sid's Civilization?
Very kind of similar to Civilization. It's a better game than Civilization.
Okay.
Because, so like my like framework of like what a good game is like this like 3-part thing where like a good game requires number one, simplicity to like learn, right? So like if I watch someone play a game, I kind of can understand like if anyone watches a game being played, they can easily understand what's going on in the game and what like how to win, and like they think that they can like learn the game after watching a couple times, right? If the game is easy enough to learn from watching, that's a good like easy to learn like game, right?
I agree.
The second part of a game, or to make a good game, is like having a high skill level, right? Because if it's an easy to learn game, but then everyone can become like a master because the game is too simple, then it's just kind of stupid, right? Like the skill cap just kind of makes it so that like the playability in the long term is just not there. So like chess is a super high skill level game, right? You can just keep getting better and better, and even the best world champion is outmatched by even computers at this point, and it just keeps going higher and higher, right? Go is another one that's really high skill level. But then the thing that makes I feel like a game fun is a third part is a little bit of luck and variance. And so chess doesn't have any luck or variance. Jiu-jitsu doesn't have luck or variance. You know, it's there's randomness, right? And randomness makes a game more fair in terms of if like someone is outmatched, right? They can be outmatched and still have the feeling of like playing the game at like they could make themselves delusional enough to think that they could beat good players in a game, and that causes a game to be played like a lot. So down that rabbit hole.
Well put.
Poker.
Yeah.
Poker has those three elements in a like a beautiful balance. Right? It's a very simple, at least the form of poker that most people know is Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Get two cards. Can't be any simpler than that, right? You get two cards, there's a flop, three cards out there. Everyone knows like poker hands, you know, a pair, two pair, three, like flush, and you know,
full house, yeah.
Full house. You know the poker rankings, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a turn, there's a turn and there's a river. There's rounds of betting between. You know, it's a very simple game to learn when you're watching it, right? There's a high skill level because there's so many strategies that can be employed within poker. And then the most beautiful thing is there's luck and there's variance and there's no justice sometimes. And that can be frustrating if you're, you know, like if you're good or you think that you're supposed to win all the time, which, you know, some people like delude themselves in thinking that they are supposed to win, like, you know, nonstop. But like, it's what makes the game just playable endlessly, you know? And, I mean, I've loved playing poker. Like no one, I tell this all the time, like no one loves playing poker more than I do.
Cosmo.
I truly believe that.
Yeah. Hey, Cosmo,
Yeah.
I can hear your passion,
Yeah.
like loud and clear. I mean, that was awesome.
I mean, I just love games in general, but poker is like one of the best games to like play.
Awesome. I want to play with you now because
Yes.
we've never played, and I have to admit I don't gamble. It's kind of like a little rule that I have that I made for myself. But I'll play Texas Hold'em with friends.
There's gambling involved, but there's actually gambling involved in a lot of things in the world that people don't really realize. Like, also, like, gambling kind of implies that you can't win, right? When people say, like, oh, you're a gambler. And that, I think, is true for games like, I mean, clearly true for games like blackjack, roulette, games that you're playing against the casino, right?
Yeah.
Those games, you're correct. Like, if you're playing blackjack, if you're playing any casino game against the house, you can't win in the long run. Like, most people, like, you can get lucky.
Yeah.
But you can't, like, if you just keep playing, you can't win.
I gotta just kind of like pause. You said something really interesting, I think, that the way people gamble in their daily lives,
They gamble a lot.
in ways that they might not even be conscious of.
Yes.
Can you expand on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, you drive a car every day. I mean, that's a form of gambling in some way. You're kind of gambling with your life. And they're just, it's, you're basically taking on risk, you know? Like,
taking on risk.
Yeah. And you know, like life is about taking on like if you don't take on risk in life, like what's really the point, you know?
My man.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, risk and like risk, it really is what makes life exciting in my opinion. It's just like things like having kids, you know, that I think is a big gamble. Because I mean, you don't know, like, you don't have permanent control over, you know, everything in your kid's life, like, or you shouldn't. Like, it's just like, it's you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, there's it's kind of a gamble to have kids. You know, it's kind of a gamble to. I don't know. There's a lot of things I can't really bring up right now, but like it's
sure.
Yeah.
If I may ask, if it's not too personal, were you surprised by your kids' characters?
Like their personalities?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit maybe. I mean,
there's resemblance with maybe other members of the family. Like, it makes sense, perhaps.
So, some things make sense. Other things you're just like, where do you get it from? You know, like it's crazy because how quickly they learn things from you. I mean, kids are a mop. You know, of like they pick up little bits of their personality from like both mom and dad. And so it's just, that's crazy.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Cosmo, do this with me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Yeah. Let's do it with me. Cosmo, tell me how you're currently feeling right now in this very moment.
Calm.
Good. Good.
Calm.
I'm glad. Cool, man.
Yes. I like the weekends.
Me too.
But I also like the weekdays. It's funny when you have kids, your weekends are more are busier. You know, like when you're growing up, like, oh, the weekend's the time off. It's like when you have kids, it flips kind of thing, where the weekends is just like, oh, like we're gonna constantly do things with the kids like nonstop, you know. Mm. And so like the time off is actually like during the weekdays where they're like at school, and it's like, okay, like now this is like back to, you know, me time kind of thing. Mm. So yeah, that's like after this we're probably gonna go to the park or the zoo or something. So that's
very good. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's one. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, what about me? Yeah. I would say calm as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah.
You're a very good conversationalist. Like,
thank you.
You speak well. You have no problem. I love a guest that can just go.
Yeah. I try, like, this used to terrify me growing up. Like public speaking in general, I used to. I still stutter from time to time, and I've definitely been trying to work on that, and so this right here is just like doing more of this is like good practice.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you.
And by the way, that's kind of the reason why I started doing this myself. Mm-hmm. That's part of the reason why, is because in a way, it terrifies me.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to create content. Mm-hmm. in a meaningful way. For a while I would try like vlogging, like I would like hold a camera in front of me and try to speak to the camera. But I had such an awkward time doing that. And I found that when I sit across from a person and actually have a conversation, it's much easier for me to like get my thoughts out. And, mm-hmm. But yeah, part of the reason why I'm doing this is to kind of get over my fear of speaking and having people listen.
Yeah.
You know, but the other thing is, for the longest time, I would make posts on Facebook, and I would post a lot. Like when I was in my early 20s, mm-hmm. I was kind of like a clown. Mm-hmm. And looking back, I guess like I would do that because I wanted to be understood. Mm-hmm. And I hated the feeling of being misunderstood.
Yeah.
And I think like part of the reason why like social media exists is because like all of us, we want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And we like, the point is to share, right? The point is to, we all want to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely want to put out content that allows people to get a glimpse into like the real, like authentic me. And I just realized it's not going to happen through text.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to happen through like a Facebook silly post. And yeah, so this is kind of just like a little gateway into that. And yeah, man, I want to ask you with the time that we have left, I want to try to go a little deep
Sure.
if we may.
Of course.
Okay. How about this one? Over the past 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say is the thing that you're most proud of yourself for?
No, I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a big one, and I'm just throwing it at you. I'll share. I'm thinking about it myself, and I just came up with this question. I didn't even I didn't write it down or anything, but you know, obviously, like if looking back within the span of 5 years, there were a few interesting things that happened, right? Like there was like 2020, the pandemic, and all that, and that was a big life-changing year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I got really good at boundary setting.
Okay.
You know, so I got really good at saying no.
That was so hard for me.
Yeah.
Growing up. I've always been a people pleaser. Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. Like saying no at times when normally you'd say yes at the cost of your own peace.
Yeah. I don't know why it's always been so hard for me to say no. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't feel good for me, like to say it, you know, just to say no to someone, right? It doesn't feel good off the bat because you know
it's not nice.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, like you gotta sometimes be able to put yourself first.
Totally.
You know,
I've been getting a lot better at that recently, for sure. I still lean toward trying to please people, but yeah, that is definitely a skill to have. Like, because I mean, on the flip side, when someone says no to me, I don't get hurt by it, you know. And so thinking about it in that sense, like, then you know, why shouldn't I say no more often, you know? Yeah.
If you could go back and visit Kid Cosmo and give him a piece of advice, what might you say?
Man, these are deep questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Best piece of advice. Study more.
That's good.
Yeah. I was never like that good into school, like that big into school. And my present self now, I'm like just really big into learning. Like especially like since I was 25, like I've just had this like hunger to like learn about so many things that I didn't have growing up. And I felt like I've been playing catch up in a sense because I was just dicking around in school like as a kid, you know. So definitely learning and like listening instead of dicking around as a kid would be probably my best piece of advice.
Do you have any hidden talents?
So I think one of my best talents is, and this is actually how I learned how to play poker, so I've never been the best critical thinker, right? Where like if someone gives me a problem, like I don't know if I don't know how to solve it, you know, like I couldn't really like solve it myself kind of thing. But I've always been very good at mimicking and very good at like I've had like a really good memory all my life. And so when I first started playing poker, I was really lucky in the people that I met throughout, like, you know, just playing, and being able to watch them play. Like, I remember just watching some of my friends play and not really understanding like why they're doing it, like the theories behind why they're doing it, their thought processes and that. But I saw the strategy and I'm like, I can mimic this. Like this is like I can make my plays and I can make the frequencies of when I do things like very similar to what I'm seeing right now. You know, that's and like for jiu-jitsu, like when I see like jiu-jitsu technique, like I pick up that, like, you know, like if I watch a technique, I only need to watch it once and like I can like mirror that technique pretty well, right? But like the application of it, you know, like I can't really figure out like when I'm going to use it or like why I'm going to use it kind of thing. But if I see something, I can copy it. Like I've always been very good at mimicking, I guess. So that's probably my best skill. I don't know.
Favorite musical artist of all time?
Notorious B.I.G.
It took no hesitation there.
Yeah, no, he's just the best.
Cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, I listened to Biggie like all throughout when I was a kid, and he's just kind of like
cool.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That might have been my favorite question I asked you today.
How about you?
Okay. I have to say, honestly, my favorite artist of all time is Michael Jackson.
I listened to Michael Jackson growing up. It's funny you mentioned that because, I mean, me and my wife watched Finding Neverland, and then she, like after that documentary, you know, she's just like, oh, how can like anyone like listen to Michael Jackson or like play Michael Jackson? And I'm like, this music's still pretty good. I don't know. It's like it's like a weird world to like say that, you know? Like I mean, I don't know. I still like his music.
His music just hits different for me. Totally. It just it gets me moving.
I mean, beyond his music, like just watching his performances.
Oh yeah.
So the moonwalk.
Did you? I saw the Cirque du Soleil.
Oh yeah, the Michael Jackson one.
Incredible.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Incredible. Have you?
I haven't seen it yet. No, but
have you dabbled in the Cirque?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I'm in Vegas kind of a lot, so
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, seen a couple of shows for sure.
You saw O?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, Mystere.
Do you see Ka?
I haven't seen Ka yet.
Amazing.
Yeah. Good. You like that one?
Yeah, you know, growing up in New York, so my parents they did a really good job of having me see shows.
Oh, nice.
You know, and anytime Cirque du Soleil came in, I've pretty much seen all of them. I've been a bit spoiled in that regard.
Have you seen? Were you into like Broadway shows?
I've seen like all of them.
Really? Oh, nice. Have you seen like Hamilton and stuff?
No, because that one's like more recent.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And I've been away, but
there was one that I really enjoyed back in the Rent.
Yep.
Have you seen Rent?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the story of the guy who wrote that, right? Who he passed away from AIDS like right before the first performance of it. It's just, I mean, and that musical was just so great. I didn't really like the movie. I thought the Broadway show was a little bit better, but
yeah,
still love Rent.
Cosmo, I think I'm gonna ask you one more.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Sure.
And I'm gonna ask you a ridiculous question.
Okay.
And You can pass or you can attempt it, but
Sure.
whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
What's the meaning of life?
I mean, it's to experience things, in my opinion. I mean, like, what else are you living for other than like experiences? You know, like life is just a series of experiences. You know, like you're gonna get the good and the bad. Like, have you ever watched Vanilla Sky?
No, actually.
It's that's a trippy one.
Okay.
Like Tom Cruise. I don't know. I'm not really a big Tom Cruise fan, but the premise of the movie is great. But there's a line in Vanilla Sky where it's like, the good is never as good without the bad, and I think, you know, good experience and like all your experiences don't need to be good, like, but experiencing just what life brings to you in general makes it good. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll end on that note.
Sure.
Cosmo,
Thank you.
dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. And
I hope I wasn't too awkward. I hope I didn't rant too much.
No, dude. No. Awesome conversation. Super interesting.
So sweet. Thank you.
And you know, we can take a moment if there's any last thing that if there's anything pressing on your heart that you want to put out into for the people.
Just yeah.
Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, just keep on living.
Dude. I'm grateful you're at jiu-jitsu. Grateful to share the mats with you.
Yes, thanks for all the trainings.
Of course, dude. And
Yes.
I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
This is great.